Hello everyone, you are listening to VIT Community Radio to Think and Act, and I am your RJ Vaishnavee. This week is particularly special as VIT celebrates Innovation Week 2025. This time is specially dedicated to fostering technological advancements and creativity. So we have our chief guest, Mr. Anoop Ambika, who is the Chief Executive Officer of a Kerala Startup Mission and co-founder of several startup companies in Kerala. So hello sir.
Hello.
Can you share your journey that inspired you to start your own business and running it successfully?
Absolutely. So I'm a computer engineer. I did my BTech in computer science and engineering from TKN College of Engineering in '95. Then like any other middle class family, my objective was to get a job, and it was the '90s. I passed out in '95, which is when the real globalization started in India with P.V. Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh and people opening up the economy. So I went and started working in GE. I worked for Wipro GE Medical Systems for almost 2 years. As part of that, I went to GE Medical Systems in US. I worked there for almost an year, and then I took up a permanent job with AT&T Bell Labs. It was one of the oldest telecommunications company in the world. I worked in AT&T Bell Labs. It eventually became Lucent Technologies, then joined another startup which got acquired by Alcatel-Lucent. That was my first startup experience. So altogether, I was there for almost 7 years. And my first half of the career, I would say, was around embedded software and telecommunications. So by that time, I was around 30 years old. And my life in US was getting a little monotonous. So me and my wife, we thought we will do something different. We wanted to start a company, and I did not have enough capital to start a company in US, but I was able to quickly amass 25 to 30 lakhs from my friends and family, with which I started my first company in 2004 in Trivandrum in Technopark. I ran that company, grew it into a 150 people organization, and sold it in 2015. And 2017, I started two more companies. One was pretty much around the large language models, or ChatGPT as you see it. That was Clap Research. And then another one was a clinical data analytics firm. In 2019, I merged both those companies together. And in 2022, a US-based corporation came and acquired that. And that was my second exit. And then I thought it might be a good time to do something with the government and give something back to the society, which is when I joined Kerala Startup Mission, and I was always interested in policy making a little bit, and that is how I ended up being here today in the VIT. But why did I start a company? I wanted to make, I wouldn't say a lot of money, but I wanted to make a significant amount of money. B, I wanted to make an impact in a place that I grew up at. I wanted to be a job provider, get into something new and interesting. C, I also wanted to be with my parents, and the easiest way was to find a company and in Trivandrum and be close to the parents. D, I wanted to be a CEO. To become a CEO in the normal course of action, it will take at least 20 years. So I thought I'll start my own company and become the CEO of that company. That is my.
So how do you define innovation in business, and how it has played an important role in the success of your company?
And this is where I give a traditional definition of a startup, right? This came from Dr. Anil Gupta, who's a professor in IIM Ahmedabad. So he was saying that if you are transforming your product, your process, or a business model using technology in such a way that it will cater to a large amount of customers and create an illogical amount of wealth in that process, then that can be called a startup. Simple example, and then I'll look at the innovation piece only. Simple example would be a knife. There is your traditional knife, and then there is the Swiss knife, right? So the traditional knife will have the normal function of cutting, but somebody was thinking out of the box to innovate enough to turn that piece of steel wherein you will be able to open a wine bottle, you would be able to do your nail cleaning or cutting and I'm sure there are 20 different functions that you can use with a Swiss knife. So you kind of improvised or innovated a simple product into a more complex product so that more things can be attained using that product. That is one simple example. The second example is this delivery. There is all these courier companies in the world, and then there is delivery. Right? Delivery actually transformed the entire courier industry, and now they are coming up with like a 20-minute quick couriering service and things like that. Why? How did they do that? They changed the back end process. So you can innovate the process in which you do something, and then you will be able to make more. The third one is the business model, wherein I was actually getting tickets from the theater. When I was a student, I would go to the counter and get the tickets. Now I don't do that. I have Book My Show where I comfortably book my tickets, and the entire India can book tickets using Book My Show. So what has changed? The way in which business was conducted in this procuring these tickets has been significantly changed. Each of these has created significant amount of wealth in the process. Each of this has catered to a large number of customers in that process. And that is what I call. But innovation is only thinking about that, right? It is not about the business. It's about, can I do something different? Chairs have a usual form and shape. Can I transform that chair into a different shape altogether, something that you have not seen in your life, right? That thought process is where the innovation takes it. Whether it will become a successful business or not is a different ballgame altogether.
What were the key challenges that you faced as an entrepreneur?
So any entrepreneur, one of the key challenges is finding capital. How do you find the money to do business, right? It used to be much difficult when I started because venture capital ecosystem, seed ecosystem was not as strong as what it used to be. But now, this generation, I would say, is far more lucky because you have a large amount of very wealthy people who are willing to write checks as angel investments into the ideas that the youngsters are coming in. The second thing that you often find as a challenge is the passion that you have towards your product. And that passion can also become a deterrent of your business because I am going ahead and doing something that I like. Here is a technology that I found very interesting. So I'm going ahead and doing that. I am not exploring the fact whether it has got a proper market fit or not. Market fit is, so I'll give you a simple example for that. There is a bunch of boys who came to me and said that they're going to create an app called Bhai Log for migrant workers. So they wanted to create an app which will connect the employers and the migrant workers, and they will take a 10 rupee commission out of every transaction that you make. The business model looks very interesting because there is around 50 lakh migrant workers in Kerala. You are able to cater to 5 lakhs, get 10 rupees out of 5 lakh people. Every day you will be making 50 lakh worth of money. So just imagine the amount of scale that you will be getting into using Philo. But the problem is the moment you go to a muster point and try to onboard people, you will suddenly figure out that there is a lot of skepticism. Government might come in and say that, oh, you cannot collect data like this. They might feel that, oh, somebody is collecting my data and doing something wrong with it. So the product market fit is only established when I really go to a muster point, onboard those migrant workers, onboard those employers, the transactions start happening and I make money out of it. Most of the times, the innovators or the entrepreneurs forget about that business part of it or the product market fit part of it and just cling on to the technology that you're building, which could be a very heavy challenge, which everybody need to be aware of while you're building a company.
So what advice would you give to the young entrepreneurs who lacks motivation and confidence but want to create their own startup business?
I don't think young entrepreneurs lack motivation and confidence.
They don't have the guts to start their own.
You don't have to start. That is what I'm saying. See, everybody believes that you need to immediately get on to entrepreneurship, right? There is a lot of work that one can do before starting the company. It is about identifying a product, identifying a service, identifying something that has got a market potential. And it is not an easy task. It's not like you can go ahead and do a trading business, right? You can do a trading of, let's say, apparels or footwear or food. All this is possible. But in a trading business, your margin is only going to be 10 to 15%. And it's very difficult to get onto a market which is largely ruled by big giants, right? So as a young entrepreneur, what you need to do is to identify a niche problem or a niche sector that you can get into And I'll tell you one example. There is this boy whose name is Manas Madhu. He's based out of a small town in Kerala called Mavelikara. Manas used to study in Pune. And every time he go back to his Pune college, people will ask him to bring banana chips, right? So Manas had it in his mind that this Kerala banana chips has got some place in the minds of the North Indians or the Maharashtrians and things like that. So he went ahead and came back and created a company only solely focusing on Kerala banana chip called Beyond Snacks, right? It's a very, very niche segment. But do you have enough snacks? Yes, you have plenty of snacks. But Manas got into the branding and the marketing part of it, wherein he can increasing the shelf life. There were some technological innovations that he did as part of it. Last week, he closed a funding of around $8.3 million, which is around 70 crores, just building that company, building banana chips, right? So identifying that pain point or a point of opportunity, working on top of it, improvising from the traditional methods, and then going into a business is what you should do. Do not jump into the business right away. You don't have to. You can keep on improvising. You are only 20 years old. You have all the time in the world. Spend a few years just thinking and identifying the right kind of business that you want to do, and then only you start.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.